Prey, developed by Arcane Studios, published by Bethesda. Prey is an immersive sim similar to System Shock or Bioshock. Prey takes place aboard a space station that is engaging in ethically questionable practices and has been overrun by a alien life form called a Typhon, or called a Mimic. And as the name might suggest, they can hide in the environment, pretending to be everyday objects, and then ambush you and attack you, and it's really annoying, and it's kind of ruined the whole space station. So it plays very similar to System Shock. I have a video elsewhere on the channel describing in more detail my thoughts on the game, but I will give a brief kind of rundown of what I like. I like the environment. I like exploring it. I like the abilities you are given to explore it. So you have the mimic ability, which can let you kind of fit through small gaps. You have the glue cannon, which you can use to create makeshift kind of staircases. So if you're trying to access a ledge that's out of reach, you can kind of build a little staircase to get to it, which is quite fun. It does open up the environment a lot. Conceptually, I do like the enemies. I like that you can be in an area and you don't know if there are enemies there. There might be, but you don't know. And I do like that they give you clues that their enemies could be there, as in there's 2 chairs at a desk. At a desk that should only have 1 chair. Okay, so one of them is a mimic. Or there's 2 coffee mugs on the table. Or when you're aiming at this coffee mug, it starts vibrating for some weird reason. You're like, okay, yeah, that's probably an enemy, fine. And the game itself is fun to walk around. It's fun to explore. It's fun to see, what happened or what is currently happening. There are still survivors, so you're trying to help them or hinder them. I mean, you can kill them as well if you want. Some things I didn't like, and I go into more detail about it in the primer video, but I said conceptually I like the enemies. In practice, though, they're not that fun to fight. The mimics themselves, the smaller versions, are once you engage them in combat, so once you've figured out that they're the coffee mug, unless you kill them outright in that form, fighting them while they're kind of walking around or running around at your feet, they're too small. They're too small to target, they move too quickly, and your character is just not really equipped to fight them properly, I find. I'm kind of just flailing at them. The bigger enemies kind of have a similar thing. The phantoms, the kind of human-sized enemies. The early versions of them are fun to fight, particularly when you get a bit later in the game and you have powers that you can use against them. But when they start getting their kind of specialized forms and they start having strengths and weaknesses, they just become frustrating. And then the even bigger versions of them won't even engage you properly in combat. And then the last thing I'll say, and I'll go more into this in the spoiler section of this video, but the final act of the game, it didn't quite ruin the game. It ruined it for me at the time. With a bit of distance now, I can kind of separate it from the rest of the game, because overall I did enjoy it. It's just the last act. It's very frustrating and does a lot of things that I don't like. I will recommend Prey. It is a good game overall. And if you liked System Shock or if you liked Bioshock, then you will like Prey.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
What Remains of Edith Finch by Giant Sparrow. Giant Sparrow have also made Unfinished Swan. What Remains of Edith Finch is what you might call a walking simulator, if you want to be facetious, but it is kind of that kind of game. It's a first-person narrative experience. You are a member of the Finch family who appear to be cursed. May or may not actually be cursed, but they certainly appear to be because random tragedies keep happening to the family, and this game kind of charts them, so you relive the experiences of different members of the last couple of generations of Finches and see what happened to them in various circumstances, under various mini games and various other experiences, while traveling through the ancestral home. So the ancestral home has, bedrooms of the various members over the years, and that's kind of, you just make your way through the house, just experiencing the different family members' lives and what led to their tragedies and so on. I find it hard to recommend the game. While I did enjoy it, I find it's very short, and a lot of the experiences are kind of, like, I want to say a tech demo, but it's not really showing off any special tech. I suppose it's more like mini games. I'm finding it hard to recommend it because there are parts of it that I liked, or rather there were experiences that kind of spoke to me. One in particular, so anyone who has played the game or finished the game, the fish cannery section spoke to me a lot. I understand the kind of allure of escapism and the kind of effects it can have on your social life. So it's a bit deep for a video game, but it did speak to me, so it's why I would like to recommend it, but at the same time it's so short and so little to it that I'm not sure I can. If you like the kind of games like Gone Home or Dear Esther or Ether 1, things like that, you will get something out of What Remains.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
This is Rime from Tequila Works, who had Sexy Brutal in the last month's video. So, this section might be a little short because I can't really tell you much about the game without spoiling it. From the looks of it, it might seem like it's a kind of like a Zelda game, but it has a lot more in common with a game like Journey, in that it's kind of a narrative experience with some light puzzle solving. The puzzles aren't very taxing. I can't really say much about the story. All I can say is there's more to it than it looks, and it is a very good story, and you need to play it all the way to the end. The game had me pretty upset at the end of the game, in a good way, in a kind of like emotional, catharsis. So I would suggest playing all the way to the end. So since I can't or won't talk about the story, I will talk about other parts of the game. So visuals, as you can see from the footage, it's a very pretty game. The art direction is very nice. It's very vibrant. The areas are varied. There's a nice color palette. There's a nice progression as you go through the game. It's a very nice game to look at. The music is beautiful. I'm listening to it while I'm editing this video, so it's got that going for it. There's not a lot of content to the game, we'll put it that way. So like Journey, Journey was Journey had like three main things going for it. It had visuals, because it looked really nice. It had music, because it had really great music, and it had a really good experience. And that's what Rime has. It's got a bit more to it than Journey. It's longer, there's more to do, but at the same time, it's still kind of relying on the same three pillars. But otherwise, you're playing Rime because it's a good experience, in the same way you play Journey because it's a good experience. So if you're looking for that kind of game, give Rime a go.
You never see it coming.
I'm going to be talking about the last act of Prey and the ending of Prey. So if you haven't reached there and you don't want to be spoiled, you should go somewhere else on the video. So I am saying that the last act is from when Doll shows up. So the game at that point is slow. It's methodical. You know, you work your way around the environment, taking your time, making sure you're not getting ambushed, you know, scrounging for equipment, keeping track of your resources, only engaging in combat when you know you're going to win. That's the game at that point. When Dahl shows up, he brings combat operators. I can't remember their actual names, just what I'm going to call them. Robots with laser beams. He brings them with him, who are really tough, hit really hard, and constantly respawn, meaning you can't get rid of them. You know, you kill one, but they're just going to make another one a couple of seconds later. So now you are just wasting resources trying to fight with them. You're almost certainly going to die. Like, there was one situation where I had 3 combat operators and the nightmare spawned. And they killed the nightmare, and I was like, fuck's sake, I'm not fighting these guys, this is ridiculous. But basically the game turns into you just sprinting through the environment just to get to the next objective, just to get past these guys, because you can't fight them, really. I mean, you can fight them, but I mean, it's such a waste of time that you're not going to do it. So I'm sprinting past these combat operators, I'm sprinting past phantoms and technopaths and whatever. It's just, no. Like, the game is no longer this slow, methodical progress. It's just whatever. I'm skipping things now. Like, there were side objectives I could have done, and I just went, nope, done. I'm not dealing with these guys while I'm trying to do the side objectives as well. I just found it really frustrating, because it changed the game completely, and now it's a game I don't want to play. There was a point where I didn't want to finish it. Then I did finish it, and then the ending happened, and oh my god, really? It was a dream all along. That's what we're going with. All your choices you made up to that point, pointless. You know, did you actually save those people? Were those people already dead? Me trying to, like, you take January and December, the kind of interplay. Can I trust them? Are they really me? Are they just faking my voice? Because there's a section in the game where you fake Danielle Show's voices, so January could entirely be a fake, and you don't know that. So you're wondering, should I trust him? And then it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you trust him. It was fake anyway. Simulation. I don't know if they did that so they'd have somewhere to go in a sequel, but it's such a big slap in the face. Like, make all these decisions. You know, you trust people, or you save people, or you don't save them. And fine, they shoot you at the end, or they shake your hand at the end, but like, it's so pointless. It's such a waste, and it really annoyed me when I finished it. I was questioning whether Prey was a good game because of that. Like, it's entirely gameplay based. Or sorry, it's entirely, like, a video game should be like good based on its gameplay rather than based on its story, and a good story is just nice to have, but that's such a bad ending. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. I still like the game, but goddamn, that ending is so bad. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments.
You never see it come back.
We're talking about Little Nightmares, so there's going to be spoilers in this section. There's 3 things I want to talk about. The first is the guest area, the guest section of the game, where you're running away from the gluttonous guests of the mall and just trying not to be eaten. And there's a good scene right at the end where there's this tidal wave of fat people trying to chase you, and you know, it's quite tense. It's very well paced, and then there's the elation of, you know, swinging across the chasm and just, you know, giving them the middle finger when you get across that way. Nothing profound to say about it or anything. I just thought it was really well done, really well designed. Something I want to talk about in more detail, though, are the hunger sections. So, as you know, hopefully, since you're in the spoiler section, it's the 4th hunger part. So the part where Six is offered food by one of the Nomis, and instead of eating the food, she eats the Nomi. And I remember feeling awful after that happened, because I'm kind of expecting it. I was waiting for something like that to happen, because the first food hunger section, if you like, is bread. Right, then the second section is meat. This is raw meat in a cage. And then the third section is live meat, right? It's a rat. You could argue you're putting the rat out of its misery because it's dying, but You know, you still kill the living thing, and we as a species, of course, kind of ignore that side of our diet. You know, well, I'm not vegetarian, I eat meat, so you know, you kill cows, you kill pigs, and whatever, and you still eat their meat. But then you come across the Nomi, and you're thinking, like, he's offering you food. You're thinking, okay, fine, I'll just eat the food. And then your character says, no, that's not what we're doing. I'm going to eat the Nomi. And you're thinking, no, stop. Why are you doing this? You know, and you had just come from a section where you were running away from people trying to eat you. And you'll remember the Nomis, the gnomes. I can't actually remember what they are. They're also running away from you a lot of the time. So now you're thinking, these monsters that I was running from in the last section, I'm one of them. I'm no better. You know, I ate these guys. You know, so you feel terrible, and it's a really good twist because the whole goal of the game has changed, or the whole tone of the game has changed. You know, you're no longer in this kind of oppressing environment. You know, you're not the victim here. You're the monster. You're the bad guy. And then that's just cemented in the final section where you kill the lady who may or may not be your mother. And then the last thing I'm going to point out is just the final scene where you walk out of the mall. Just everybody dies around you. It's really well done. It's a really well designed scene. And it feels good. It feels good, man. Even though you're unleashing this horrible evil on the world, but still feels good. So let me know what you guys thought of that section. I thought it was really well done, and I liked feeling like a horrible monster. So those were the games for May 2017. Not much coming up next month anyway. I mean, there's Tekken 7, but I'm not a big competitive multiplayer person, so I probably won't be getting it. And the next big game, it's not even a big game, it'll be the Crash Bandicoot Trilogy, which will be next month. Otherwise, I don't have much on the calendar, so if you have any suggestions for games that you think I should play, or that you'd like to see me play, or you'd like my opinion on, let me know. I will probably otherwise just delve into my backlog somewhere and pick something out, pick a couple of things out. There's plenty still left for me to play. If you liked this video, or didn't like this video, let me know. You know, let me know what I'm doing well, let me know what I'm not doing well. Comments and subscribes and all those things. Otherwise, I shall see you in the next video. Thanks.